Welcome to a part 4 of the readout of the official affidavit documents in the case of Jaqueline Torres-Garcia, who we call Mimi. Now let's get right back to where we had left off as they were resuming an interview with Carla Garcia. At the beginning of the interview, Carla Garcia provided a similar statement of how Mimi was unalived. Carla Garcia stated that she and Mimi were walking down the stairs when Mimi suddenly pushed her down the stairs. Carla stated that she and Mimi were arguing because Mimi was upset with Garcia for having another baby. Garcia stated that Mimi did not want her to have any more kids and only wanted it to be her, Mimi, and her sister, NG. Carla stated that she told Mimi there was nothing she could do about it since she was already 6 months pregnant. Carla stated she wasn't even halfway down the stairs when Mimi pushed her and her legs folded. Carla stated that Nanita was smoking outside on the back porch and saw the entire incident from there. Carla stated that Nanita came in and tried to help her up, but he couldn't pick her up because her legs weren't functioning from the fall. Carla stated that Nanita then picked Mimi up off of her and proceeded to stomp her on the head 2 or 3 times. Carla describes there being no blood at their time and that she was still moving after. Carla stated it did not look like Nanita had unalived her since she was still moving. Carla stated that Mimi appeared to be scared from the incident. Carla then went on to state that Nanita subsequently dragged Mimi away by her arms. She claimed that she couldn't see where Nanita brought her because her legs were paralyzed and her view was blocked by a wall. Carla went on to say that she heard what sounded like a body being thrown down a flight of stairs and she could hear Mimi crying. Carla stated that she never saw Mimi after that incident. She went on to say that she sustained such severe injuries from being pushed down the stairs that she was unable to walk for 2 weeks without assistance. Carla stated that during this time, she was unable to check on the well-being of Mimi. Carla stated she would ask Nanita what happened to Mimi, but he would tell her not to ask any questions. Carla stated when people asked about Mimi's whereabouts, including NG, the younger sister, she would tell them that Mimi ran away or that she was staying with a friend. Carla stated that Jonathan told her to say that. Carla confirmed this incident occurred when she was 6 months pregnant when she was living in Farmington, Connecticut. She estimated the incident occurred in October of 2024. Carla explained that while she was living in Farmington, the police had been called numerous times due to excessive noise from her and Jonathan arguing. She stated during one occurrence, a police officer had come to speak with her, and she told them she was frustrated because she was pregnant and had to keep cleaning. Carla did not mention when this happened, but based on in-house information, Farmington police responded to 135 Wellington Drive on December 29, 2024 at approximately 20:59 hours on the report of yelling and banging coming from the unit. Farmington officers noted that they spoke with Garcia, who stated she was in her last trimester of her pregnancy and that she was frustrated. Garcia admitted to the detective that Mimi had been missing when she spoke with Farmington police, and Carla did not report Mimi to be missing at this time. One small note, that footage from that incident when the Farmington police showed up to the house, that body cam footage is on my profile. During the interview, detective confronted Carla concerning the photograph of Mimi where she is lying on the ground on top of pee pads, restrained in zip ties. The detective also confronted Carla about Mimi appearing to be malnourished. Carla initially denied having any involvement in restraining Mimi in zip ties and that she would always provide food for her. Later in the interview, she admitted that she saw Mimi restrained in zip ties on one occasion, and she immediately cut the zip ties off. She later admitted that she did apply zip ties to Mimi on 2 occasions after she was told to do so by Nanita. Carla also admitted that she was forced by Nanita to withhold food from Mimi. Carla later admitted that she and Nanita would mistreat Mimi together because Mimi was, quote, bad. She didn't listen, she didn't respect them. Carla went on to say that Mimi was doing things she wasn't supposed to, including striking other kids, going into people's cars, and having 5 boyfriends. Just a side note, Mimi, again, she was 11 years old. Carla ultimately admitted that they stopped giving Mimi food for about 2 weeks prior to her death. Carla admitted that she was hurt from her daughter not wanting her, so she would stop talking to her, stop feeding her, and restrain her in zip ties. Carla stated that she would do this because Mimi was bad. She went on to admit that her sister, Jaqueline Garcia, Jonathan, Anita, and her, Carla, would all treat Mimi this way. Carla admitted that Jaqueline had taken the photograph of Mimi zip-tied. She stated that Jaqueline wasn't living with them, but that when she was there, she would treat Mimi the same way. Carla admitted that Mimi died sometime in her bed, but she wasn't sure exactly when. She stated that Nanita came downstairs one day and told her that Mimi was not breathing anymore. Carla stated Jonathan moved Mimi's body to the basement, but she never went down there to see what he did with it. She stated the smell became so bad that they began to stay at hotels and with other friends. Carla admitted that when they moved to Tremont Street, Nanita transported Mimi in his car. She maintained that she never knew she was in the plastic bin because Nanita had purchased the bin a few days before they moved and told her that Mimi was in it when they moved. Carla told Nanita to leave the bin in his car. Carla stated that she believed Mimi was deceased and her body was in the basement when Farmington police went to her house and spoke with her in December. Carla finished by claiming that Nanita disposed of Mimi's body by himself and that she never touched the plastic bin. She further stated that she was unaware if Nanita poured any chemicals or powders on Mimi's body to try and mask the smell. On October 10th, 2025, Detective Hopkins reviewed the interviews of Jaqueline Garcia conducted at the New Britain Police Department on October 8th and October 9th, 2025. The first interview of Jaqueline Garcia was conducted by Detective Barry Hertzler of the New Britain Police Department on October 8th, 2025 at approximately 22:39 hours. The video appeared to capture an interview that had already begun because Jaqueline was speaking. Jaqueline spoke with Detective Hertzler and slurred her words as she spoke, appearing under the influence. Jaqueline mentioned that she was incarcerated at Niantic from December 2024 to August 2025. Jaqueline said she last saw Mimi this morning at her older sister's house, Caitlin Cruz, at 154 Kelsey Street. Jaqueline then stated that the kids were with a good friend, but that she did not know the friend's name or information. Jaqueline stated Jonathan Nanita was not good and threatened everybody. It should be noted that during this interview, Jaqueline urinated in her pants. The second interview occurred on October 9th, 2025, with Detective Barry Hertzler at approximately 19:39 hours. It appeared that Jaqueline was sober during the second interview. Jaqueline stated that she did not remember the interview room from the night before and stated her pants were wet and that she thought she peed herself. Jaqueline began asking questions about the evening before and stated she did not remember. Jaqueline stated she just found out everything yesterday, but admitted to not having seen Mimi, quote, in months. Jaqueline's nickname is Mimi. Jaqueline confirmed that she was released from prison on August 15th, 2025, and moved into the Tremont Street address with her sister. Jaqueline finally stated that she believed she was being interviewed because her niece was found on Clark Street behind an abandoned building in a bin. Jaqueline stated she kept reading the article referring to an online news article. Jaqueline admitted that when she returned from prison, she asked where Mimi was, and Anita stated she was with a friend. Jaqueline said she last saw Mimi before she went to jail when she was living at the house in Farmington. Jaqueline stated it was summer still. Jaqueline had difficulty providing an exact date of when she last saw Mimi, but said the end of summer because it had started to get cold. Jaqueline estimated possibly August of 2024. That is going to be the end of part 4, and I will see you over in part 5. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, something that helps the channel is if you make sure that you are following me, liking, and sharing. I will see you all over in the next one.